Hey Outlaws, and welcome back to Twisted Media, and happy 100 plus subscribers.
Woo!
We started this channel, so we had another channel, had like 628 right now.
It's still there.
It's still there. And we decided to move because our suggested videos went to crap, because we had too many videos of Jenny doing fun things and fun clothing.
Yeah, we think we got like some sort of adult-only rating, and our videos weren't being suggested.
Shadow banned. Like, it was cool. We actually saw the statistics where you could see it. Like, it was good. Suggested videos also dropped off, and it never recovered. So we moved over, and so far it has paid off. Within 3 weeks, we now have 133 subscribers as of right now. Thank you. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard, everyone who's new, and welcome back, Outlaws, for everybody who came over with us. So, what we're going to do with the other channel, probably turn it into Digitally Twisted Outlaw News, so we can cover stuff that tends to really anger a lot of people.
What, you mean like not all of our other videos?
Oh my lord, I know. A lot of our videos, look, so I enjoy the conversations we have with everybody, except for the ones that are just way too emotionally attached, and I'll keep this brief. I think a lot of people tend to use Berserk as some kind of therapy for their trauma, and I really think that's a bad idea. If you have to be one of those people, please go seek out real therapy. Please. Anyways, so you raised your eyebrows at me. How could you?
No, I didn't.
That was rude.
No, not at you.
Anyways, so
I was looking at Casca's face right there.
I do enjoy it. You can see occasionally I get really, really trolly with the comments, and I'm just like, I don't even care. I'm just going to mess with them. I think I've been called a schizophrenic twice now, which is interesting.
Yeah, and I don't think those people know what schizophrenia is if they're calling you that.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
It's whatever. Anyways, so sometimes I'll roll in the mud with them a little bit. I probably shouldn't. As some people, as a very wise man once said, that don't argue with idiots. They'll drag you down to their level and beat you with experience. Mm-hmm. Not saying that everybody who disagrees with me is an idiot, but some of them pretty special. Anyways, I enjoy most of the conversations. We don't agree, and obviously I'm not going to back down from my opinion, because unless you provide something really, really groundbreaking, I'm going to keep disagreeing, because when I push out a theory video, it's a theory, it's opinion, but I also back it up with things that I'm doing and saying. So at the end of the day, we're talking about fiction. Anyways, let's talk a little bit. Excuse me. We're very sick. We've been sick she's been sick for 6 days. I've been sick for like 4.5 days. It sucks.
Yeah.
Berserk Golden Age arc. I still am unimpressed. It's just a shinier version of, Golden Age arc from a while ago. I believe they missed a huge opportunity to create a fantastic new, like, could have been an announcement for new anime. It could have been like a maybe announcement for anime, but they wasted it with the Bailet countdown, which was just dumb.
For a Blu-ray.
For Blu-ray release. And I'm like, I went to my store, the stores around me, and none of them even have DVD Blu-ray players. In fact, the red boxes around us have also been slowly, quietly been shutting down, because they basically want you to go digital. That way, all you can do is just buy digital crap and be stuck with not really ever owning any of your products. They can just take it away whenever they want to, which they have. Anyways, that's a conversation for another one. So I'm not that excited about it. Will I get the Blu-ray thing just for kicks and giggles? Maybe. Not right now. The recession is kicking everyone in the teeth. And if you are smart, you are spending your money wisely. I won't give you too much advice on that. But I wasn't impressed. And this is just, again, like Casca's bewildered face. The Eclipse is meant to shock you, to transform your understanding of Berserk, and bring you to the next chapter. Okay?
It definitely serves as like, oh, you start thinking, oh, it's this medieval fantasy, da-da-da-da-da, and then you have the Eclipse, and it totally, like, flips the script completely. Here's the real story, which is only really hinted at the beginning of the manga in the Black Swordsman arc, but then we very quickly get into the Golden Age, and you kind of forget all that other stuff that happened, and this is like, nope, this is the real story. Golden Age arc, very, very tiny part of the story.
Yep, exactly. And we are also going to talk a little bit about some of the comments on here and discuss something that somebody brought up. I meant to screenshot their name. I don't remember them, but you know who you are. Discuss something about apotheosis and how there's more than one way to, transform into something else. But Jenny also wants to discuss a little bit about something that she saw that stood out to her for this episode when people were getting blasted with 20 million little how shall we say, brands, such as the scene here.
Ooh, not that one.
Yeah, not that one. You see,
it's like
Pippin's getting a brand mark right there. There you go.
So, yeah, I mean, I didn't really realize this until I went back and, you know, reread the manga after having watched the Golden Age arc ad nauseum, and had this scene burned into my brain of when Griffith utters, "I sacrifice," all of the brands get sent out in a very haphazard manner. They're flying through the air, they're smacking people left and right. Guts has it on his neck, Casca has it on her chest, I think Corcus gets hit in the forehead, we saw Pippin get hit in the arm. It's all random where people are getting hit. But if we go to the scene where we see what we assume is probably Void's sacrifices made during King Geyseric's era, all of the brands are really very neatly placed on the foreheads in a very uniform manner. It doesn't seem like there's really anything haphazard about this. And also all of the bodies appear to be intact and still laying there in like almost a mummified state where you can see the brand on them. So this is a much different version of the Eclipse than what we see in Griffith's Eclipse. Now, Dave brought up, like, you know, it could be an artistic, you know, style thing. Kentaro Miura drew that at a way earlier point in the manga, so maybe just to illustrate, you know, what was going on in like one frame. That's how he chose to draw it.
Yeah, but you look at this frame right here, you can see like there's just chunks and pieces of people everywhere. Yeah,
like I don't think that you're going to come across these bodies and be able to find where the brands were. So I don't know, just something that stood out to me that I thought was interesting. I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
But I thought it was interesting to point out.
Yeah, it was something that kind of stood out a difference. And also that it looks like the city came crumbling down on these people and they were trying to flee or escape and they got caught up in the carnage of it being destroyed. They're all intact. You see people look like they're wedged underneath the roof. They got trapped there. So who knows how they died. They don't even look like a spirits came by, kind of like in the Tower of Conviction where it ate them and then spit them back out as all bones. So good question how all that came to be about. Okay, one thing I want to bring up too, so now let's go talk about comments a little bit. So I was having a discussion with a person and they're like, well, how do we know that, you know, that Guts may not turn into an apostle another way, or how we know there's not more than one path to, he called it apotheosis. Now, apotheosis, if you guys want to take a look it up real quick, he's obviously mentioning a path to being an apostle. But here online, it's the highest point in the development of something, culmination or climax. So I get what you mean. Now, that's a good, what are you going to say?
Well, it says there, it occurs to a demigod as well when they perform feats to gain the recognition of their divine relatives and join their ranks.
There you go. That's interesting. Okay, so that has something to do with this too. So during the Eclipse in the actual manga, this is one of the many interpretations. This is the readberserk.com interpretation. There's many different ones. I've read numerous ones and they all have different interpretations, but they all kind of coincide with what they mean. And this is kind of like what we didn't talk about on this video, but we were talking about earlier. A lot of people have very, very hardcore different interpretations of what Berserk means and what Berserk is to them. Well, also, which is normal for a fiction piece, but to me it seems like almost like sometimes people are reading different mangas. I don't think it has anything to do with interpretations, but it's more like personal bias. What's up?
Well, I do have something to say about that.
Okay.
Because since this was originally written in Japanese, and Japanese uses kanjis, the kanjis are like one symbol might express an entire emotion or an entire idea that somebody would read that kanji and know, oh, this is what's being conveyed, but it doesn't have a direct translation into English, which is why a lot of times when you read mangas that are translated from Japanese, you get kind of different interpretations that have the same underlying feeling to it, but maybe different literal English words, because the kanjis don't, in a lot of cases, have a direct translation.
Yeah.
And that's why sometimes you have like different sources will have different text text written on them in English. It's not necessarily that one person did it right or wrong. It's just a hard medium to translate over into English sometimes.
Yeah. So someone asked apotheosis, and I think they're correct. And we actually see several like bits of evidence and hints and literary devices used by Kentaro Miura to say there is more than one way to create an apostle, and you don't necessarily need to have the God hand all present to do that. And we see that with Slan's infatuation with Guts, which actually starts during the eclipse when he's actually killing off some of the lesser apostles in front of the God hand. And she's viewing him, and she's like, the boy does do his best. It's ironic, though. The stronger his life force and the greater his anguish, the more they become precious bread for the new life of darkness. Now, there's also other interpretations, like Jenny was saying earlier with the kanjis, where she says something different, like, just doesn't matter. The stronger his anger, the stronger his anguish, the deeper he's going to fall into despair. Something like that.
Yeah, I've seen that one too.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So different interpretations, which could then lead, because like that despair one also kind of leads credence to chapter 371 of him just falling into a big giant pit of despair. But she shows an infatuation with him, which then continues when she turns herself into transforms herself from a big pile of guts. Pun intended. And then go check out my recent short where I kind of make fun of that whole situation. And we see Guts getting captured by her, and her continuing her infatuation with Guts, where she has to literally pull herself into the world in such a way where she takes physical form. And she even admits that she hasn't taken physical form in a long time, and also it's kind of gross that she had to do it through intestines, whatever. But she brings up a point, and you can see his little Baelet wiggling around. She's like, or rather, why not make a sacrifice as he did? And she kind of hints at that Guts could actually make a sacrifice and in a way turn himself into apostle through the powers of Slan. Because when you talk to, I can't scroll back and forth because Slan's not exactly in a full state of dress, and I don't want to get striked. But Skull Knight kind of asked her, were you the only one summoned? And she's like, no, just me. Would you like to join us, Your Majesty, as we are on this little tryst or whatever? But I further back that up that you don't really need the entire God hand there, because we had the little weird Eggman and his little tentacles that kind of made sort of demi-apostles or semi-apostles. Like what he did with Father Moscus and his minions, and turned them into basically like a little miniature, less powerful version of apostles. Although I would argue Father Moscus was pretty powerful with his fire breath, flying, and stone, skin, all that stuff. Yeah, like
definitely. Well, he also,
I think he could beat up a lot of apostles if he went one-on-one with them.
I think, honestly, like, there's a whole thing that can be talked about with that, and, like, the power of, like, conviction in somebody's religious beliefs, which also kind of translates over to Farnese, and I think why she's able to pick up on being a mage so easily. But that would be a whole different.
That's a whole that's a theory video in the making right there. Theory
we can't talk because we've been sick for like a week.
It sucks. But yeah, I whoever it was, I completely forgot. I'll have to look up your name again. Yeah, I agree. There's more than one way to become an apostle or apotheosis, as you point out. Will Guts use the Baelet? I don't know. Will Puck use the Baelet? I don't know. Someone even said, will Rickert use the Baelet? I don't know.
Somebody did bring up a point that without Rickert having a brand, Griffith will always be incomplete. And that is a good point, because Rickert was part of the Band of the Hawk, and that was the only Hawk that didn't get branded.
Yep. All right. For now, Outlaws, thanks for being here. We will do... I heard that. We will do... That was our chihuahua. We will do another video again, thanking our subscribers when we get to 200 and 300 and 400, all the way until we get to 1,000, and then we'll do it like every 1,000 things or whatever. Maybe we won't. We'll see. Because we're happy to all have you here, and we're excited to keep going on this journey. So, till then, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
It is through death that we espy faith.
Yes, what he said, Crazy Moscus.
Yes.
And we'll see you next time, Outlaws. Bye.